Hey everybody, welcome back to Gearhead Daily. Eric here. Haven't made a video in quite a while. Usually we've just been doing a fair amount of, how-to videos, woodworking, that sort of thing. But I see a lot of people doing these, tier list things, and I figured out what the heck I'll give myself a shot at it. And got a bunch of cars here that I haven't made up the list, so we're just gonna see. And I've owned a lot of cars in my life, a lot of different cars, and I have a bucket list of ones that I just kind of have to go down and I have to try or I have to own or something to that effect. So there's a bunch of cars here. I didn't pick this list, and it kind of goes from God tier to yeah, I would own that to yeah, it seems fine to meh and hell no, hard pass. Okay, so let's kind of jump in. If your car gets not as high as you want, I'm sorry, but feel free put your comment below, and feel free to tell me where I'm wrong because obviously I will be. So let's start off with the first one, Porsche. This is a 911 GT3. What is it? Oh, it's in the would own. I definitely would own it if I had the cash for it. These things are great. I've had a 911 Turbo before. The price, I gotta put it in God tier only because these are track freaking weapons. These are fun right out of the box. You don't gotta do squat to them, and those things are fan freaking tastic right out of the box. They're fast. The interiors are very good, and when you want to drive them home, you could just drive them home. I mean, they're seriously probably one of the best sports cars out there, honestly. And they're very fast. They're well intentioned and well sorted cars right out of the box. Now the price is probably why it's in God tier because God tier is kind of the out of reach for me, at least in this lifetime. So unless I hit the lottery or something fun or some relative decides to gift me a couple $1,000,000, yeah, this one's not going to happen for me. So moving right along are the R8. I've had an R8 before. They're fine. I would own one. It's not a god tier car in my opinion. They're great. The V10 is where you want to go. The gated V10. The S-Tronic I think is great. But to be honest with you, it's not a god tier car. It's not one of those cars that you feel like Superman every time you drive it, and there's always a feeling you get when you drive a car, and that's just not it. They're cool. I mean, I love R8s. I think they're great. I've had one. I had the 4.2 V8 version with the R-Tronic. R-Tronic's fine. It's great. But if you're gonna get one of these, definitely get the V10. Definitely try and get a gated one if you can afford it. Otherwise, the S-Tronic is perfectly fine. It shifts very good, especially when you really plant your foot into it. Super cool. So, BMW, it looks like this is one of their 1 Series even. I've driven BMWs. I've never personally owned one. They're they're meh. They don't really do anything for me. They're not super exciting. I've driven M3s, I've driven M5s, and even the 740i and a few of the others. And BMWs are just a big bag of meh. They're nothing burgers. Sorry. They look cool. They look great, especially some of the M3s, especially the square bodies from the 90s. I thought just looked fantastic, especially when they're the DTM series. They were great, but to be honest with you, meh. Sorry. I've driven one. They're not that exciting. Not that great to work on either, to be honest with you. So yeah, maintenance wise, not great, especially if you want to go over 100,000 miles with them. So, Camaro SS or the Z28 version. I've had a couple Camaros, older ones. The new ones are pretty good, especially if you get the kind of like 18, 19, 20 versions where you can get like the ZL1 package with the brakes and the big engine and the this and the that and the tires. And yeah, they're fine. I'm kind of over Camaros at this point. They're cool. I love Camaros. I would love some of the older ones, but I think there's other cars to own kind of at this point. Now, this is where I know I'm going to probably get some flack, and feel free right down below. There is the comment section. Feel free to tell me where I'm wrong, and that's okay. I'm going to put right up here with the GT3 RS. Yeah, okay, maybe not, the base model Corvette and the top tier core 911 version, but I will give it the Corvette, especially if you've got a ZR1 or if you've got a Z06. These are very capable cars. And here's why I'm going to put it at God tier. Here's why. Okay, you can buy these right off the street, cash in your pocket, boom, you can go buy one. Okay, you don't need to be on any stupid list. You don't need to, have a secret handshake or a relationship with the dealer or any of that dumb crap. I'm looking at you, Ferrari. You don't need to have $1 billion. You can own one, and if you look at the track times with capable drivers and comparable, tests and things, they are very capable cars that can keep up with the GT3 RS in most situations. You can buy parts right off the shelf. You break something, usually, it's within a day or two, or it's even on it's at an auto parts store near you. Really, honestly, if you want to go out and have a great time, have a crap load of power. It's easy to swear here. The Corvette is really where it's at. You put a set of sticky tires on it, you go drive it. The C7 especially, very capable car. C6s are great as well, but honestly, a C7 is just another step above, and the C8 too. C8, I would put in the wood-owned category only because it's not God tier in the respect that it's kind of priced a lot of people out of the market. So readily available, you can parts off the shelf, easily modifiable, and have a great time, and very, very affordable sports car. Can't say that about the 911 GT3 RS. So, BMW Beamer again. Now we're talking about a little bit of different version here. I think they're fine. These kind of M-powered cars, I think they're fine. And they don't do a lot for me. I think they look good, but I'm not sure I would own one. I can't see myself owning one. I don't see myself as like a Beamer owner or, owning a pair of, racing gloves with the knuckles cut out of them. I don't know. I can't do it. They don't do anything for me. So they go in the fine category. They're fine. Ferrari. I would love to own a Ferrari. I would love to put them in God tier. I can't put them in God tier. I can't. I would definitely put it in the would-own category. I definitely have Ferraris on my list, a 458, 488. Actually, my dream car, it's, again, out of reach, is the 575 Maranello. But I can't put them in God tier, and here's why. They do the same thing that Rolex does, which is they will put you on a list. You have to know somebody. You have to buy some lesser ones first, and then maybe you'll get the one you want. And they play these stupid games. And, a lot of their procedures, a lot of oil changes are, just even doing belts and fans and stuff. At least on the older cars, I'm not sure on the newer cars, it's an engine out procedure. You shouldn't need to do that with an engine out procedure. It's stupid. I cannot remember the name of this one, so please remind me. This is a hard pass. This might be the world's ugliest. Is it a Peugeot? I'm not sure. Hard pass. No. Just nope. Nope. Nobody nope. No. Mercedes G-Wagon. I have a funny story where I saw a G-Wagon for sale, or I'm sorry, not for sale, in a grocery store, and written on the back was Happy 16th Mitzi or Buffy or something like that. And I almost threw up right in my seat. So G-Wagon, hard pass. You could give me one. I really doubt I'd ever own one. Old school Skyline, they're fine. I don't think I could own one. I think they're neat. I think they're a little overhyped, honestly, for what they are and what you get. I couldn't really see myself going out and, blasting the autocross with one of these. If for me to own one or to be God tier, you need to be able to beat the crap out of it. You need to be able to take it to the track. You need to be able to drive it home. It's got to have air conditioning. It's got to have, lay down some decent times, regardless of whether I'm a crap driver or not. The capability's got to be there. And these cars are fine. They're nothing special, in my opinion. I know a lot of people love them. I think they're great. But in my opinion, nothing really home to write about. So, the new Skyline. Now, that one for me goes God tier. Here's why. When you really get in these things are way more capable than most of the drivers who put it down. The modifications that are out there are great. You can pick these up for relatively cheap with low miles, with full bolt-on kits, 700-800 horsepower. Even they've got these like crazy, dyno charts with loop-de-loops in them, and four-wheel drive. They drive really well. They're called Godzilla for a reason. They're God tier for me. They're not the most expensive car out there, and there's 1,000 variations of these, which kind of get a little boring after a while. So in part, they might, in some cases, go in the meh category, but I don't know, the GTR really goes up there for me. Lamborghini. You know what? Meh. They're boring. And here's why. They're basically the same thing as the Audi R8, essentially, with a, look at me sort of package. Are they race cars out of the box? Some of them are, but for the most part, people don't buy these for that reason. They buy these as status symbols. They buy them to go on rallies and to put stickers all over them and to show off to your buddies and say, I've got a Lambo. Look at me, I'm Lambo guy. And basically make an entire personality about owning a Lamborghini, which that's not a personality, okay? Owning a Lamborghini is not a personality. You can't buy it, okay? Sorry, Lamborghinis, not for me. Not the way I do things. I want to say this is a Volkswagen, and I gotta say I not 100%, but or an Audi. It's not an Audi Quattro, but I gotta put this one up here with would own. If I remember correctly, and feel free. This is off the top of my head, so you got to give me some slack here. But this car, honestly, goes into the would own. It's not a Scirocco, but it was a 4-wheel drive something, and I think this is one of like a Cosworth powered something. But that said, these things go like crazy. So they're fun. I think they look great. They got 4 doors, a hot hatchback. I mean, they're great. I mean, come on, who wouldn't want one of these? Moving along to the Lexus, they're fine. They're fine. I've driven several Lexuses. They're fine. They're nothing to write home about. I didn't find it particularly fast or particularly fun to drive. Again, they're meh. So yeah, they're fine. And I'll even, just because they're Lexus and they drive fairly nice, they go into the fine category for me. Not quite meh, but yeah, that's the way it goes. So the McLarens. I put this one up here in the God tier category. And this kind of goes for most of the McLaren, not necessarily this specific P1 version, but most of the McLarens. I have driven a 720S, and I have had experience with the 570, I think. And when they run, they are freaking God tier. God tier all day. Don't care what you say. These things are freaking amazing cars. Now, the reason they don't get God tier, and I have to move them down to the would own, and then I have to move them down even further to the fine category, is because good luck finding one that runs. Good luck finding one that doesn't go 10,000 miles and need a brand new transmission, or needs $100,000 worth of work on it. Amazing cars to drive, absolutely 100% sublime, factory amazing, out of the box when they work. This is why I would never own one, and this is why I would rent one, but I would never, ever, ever want to be holding the bag, because they're impossible to resell. They're gorgeous to look at, and the maintenance and repair bills are just astronomical. So if you like that sort of thing, it's really a driver's car. They are really, drivers. You really have to appreciate it to kind of know what you're getting in those things. But my God, you drive one of those things, you don't even realize you're doing 130 miles an hour. I mean, these cars are so well built and so well tuned. You're transported to another world. So if they were reliable, God tier. I might even own one, but I can't. I can't do it. I can't do it. Okay, sorry, not going to happen. Honda, the Type R. Oh man, they are fun. And I would put this in the fine category. I can't see myself owning one or buying one. I could see myself driving one and having a really great time, like maybe go out and renting one and going on a track, or maybe going to Europe and hitting up the Nürburgring with one of these things. I think they're great. But honestly, at the end of the day, I just can't get over the fact that it's a Honda. The interior is a Honda. It's just, it's all Honda. It's all 100% Honda, and the kind of the fanboys that go with this particular crowd, it's tough. So they're great cars. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on anybody specifically, but the Honda kids, not so much. I'm skipping this, whatever, Renault or whatever that thing is. Supras, honestly, I think are gorgeous cars. Again, going into the fine category, I would never own one. But these are kind of one of those grail cars. They don't handle great. I'm not sure why the Supra, maybe it's the 2JZ, I'm not sure. Why these things are so popular, so expensive. I think they're neat. I think they look pretty good. Would I ever own one? No, probably not. Are they terrible cars? No. Are they terribly reliable? Depends on, what you're doing, but for the most part, they're okay. They're just they're fine. They're fine in my opinion. They don't necessarily blow my hair back. I don't think they necessarily handle particularly well, and they don't really hook up super great without a lot of work. So, they're okay. In this category of Volkswagen, this is kind of the if we're just talking regular Golf, the Golf is meh. It really is. It's meh. But if we're talking the Golf Type R, then we're definitely into the would own category. I might even seriously look at it. So for me, we're going to go into the fine category. We're fine. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with them. Now, I would definitely own one of the old school 5-speed manual Volkswagen Little Rabbit. I don't know if they have Type R's or whatever they were. Those things went like crazy, had a lot of fun with them, and you could rip on them, and they handled pretty well. I mean, even for its day where, smog was a big deal and engines were choked down, those specific ones could rip, especially the four-wheel drive guys. So finally, this is the one on my list, and if you like these lists, I'll do another one. I can do the one with like car manufacturers or something, but Subaru, the BRZ or the Toyota FR86. Oh, I don't fit in these, so that's going to be a tough one. I can't say I would own it because I don't really fit. I'm 6'1", 210. On a good day, that's rough. So for me, these are kind of up there. I gotta put them in the God tier. Here's why. Every time I go to autocross, there are 10 of these things sitting in the autocross, and guys love these things. They have a decent base. I think they're a great base if you want to go out and rip and have a good time. They're relatively inexpensive. They're rear-wheel drive. They are manual, and they have a fairly good following and fan base that goes with it. So I gotta put those cars, the BRZ and the FR86, up there in God tier because you see guys ripping those things every day. There's not a Miata on here because, of course, Miata would be God tier. But frankly, that's just kind of where it sits. So I don't know. What do you think? Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? A lot of fine cars in there. But if you've hung on this long, I like to categorize or prioritize comments. So feel free if you want to make a comment. I will prioritize yours first. If you write in the first phrase God tier, and then I will get to you first. So anyway, thanks a lot. If you haven't subscribed, that'd be cool if you did. If you don't, no worries. I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot, guys.